There's this old proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's the thread that twines our Exceptional Minds with RoboKind podcast. We want to connect you with the voices, the people, the movements, the work that's happening to promote, inspire, and achieve inclusive and celebratory moments for all. I'm Brian Baggs, CEO of RoboKind. Welcome to our episode. In this episode of Exceptional Minds with RoboKind, we are honored to host Brandie Neal, founder and CEO of Crayons To Credits Educational Consulting. With over 16 years in education, Brandie has dedicated her career to supporting neurodivergent students and their families, drawing from her own personal experiences as a neurodivergent individual. She has developed a deep commitment to creating inclusive educational environments that recognize and nurture the unique strengths of each learner. I've personally seen this. She's a magician. I can't wait for you guys to hear this. Today, we are going to delve into Brandie's journey from classroom teacher to educational consultant and child advocate. We're going to discuss the comprehensive services offered by Crayons To Credits, including tutoring and homeschool education programs, child advocacy, educational consulting, professional development, mental health counseling. There's a whole host of things that we could get into and explore the organization's upcoming expansion to full-day services. So join us as we uncover strategies for empowering neurodivergent learners today, fostering inclusive educational practices that welcome all. Brandie, welcome to Exceptional Minds with RoboKind.
Thank you so much, Brian. I'm so excited to be here. Oh, and my light just came on, so it's even more exciting. It's like, whoa!
Yeah. Well, I'm excited too. And so, everybody's listening, you might have to buckle up, put your seatbelt on. This may be a fast-paced, high-energy podcast of a talk today. So, but I'm so excited.
That's how I do
so
things now.
I know that's how you do things. So, guys, I gotta tell you, this is the first question, but I had a chance to meet Brandie at a conference. Turns out that she's in my own backyard here in Florida. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. Had a chance to visit her school, and it's everything that you would hope or imagine it to be around centering individuals and figuring out how we can wrap around to meet them where they are so that they can find the success that's tailored to them. But it's high paced, it's high energy, and it's highly attentive, and it's so inspiring.
Thank you.
But that leads me to this question: is saying, say that again.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to have you there and be able to showcase what we do, because it is so different than what most people do out there. So it was awesome to have you, and our students loved having you. Our staff loved having you. One of our girls asked if you were coming back to visit again.
Well, I sure hope so. I would love to. So, hey, one of the first things I wanted to ask you is what inspired you to start Crayons To Credits? But maybe before we even do that, let's just start. What is Crayons To Credits? So that the folks can have a little bit of an understanding, and then we'll jump into how'd you get there.
Absolutely. Okay, so at Crayons To Credits, we empower neurodivergent individuals, families, and organizations with not only training and support, but also alternative education options, because we want neurodivergent people to not only survive the neurotypical world, but to thrive in it. So we want people to understand the neurodivergent brain and how to really get the most out of your neurodivergentness to work with you, not against you. And we start that at a young age, right from our little guys all the way down in kindergarten, all the way up through 12th grade. And then we also empower organizations to embrace their neurodivergent employees. And then, so for me, just to let you know go ahead. Go ahead, Brian. What were you going to ask?
So what does that even look like, right? I went there and I see kids of all different ages. I see classrooms. Tell me what kind of services happen with the kids that come there, in addition to all the PD stuff that maybe we'll get into later.
So for our students that are in our program, so we offer what's called an alternative education option, or a micro school, if you will. We are not an official private school. We are a homeschool drop-off program. So what that means is that we partner with the parents in the student's education. So we have everybody from grade kindergarten all the way up through 12 and every ability possible because we 100% customize our academics to that student. And we do it in a 5-to-1 ratio. It's usually 4-to-1, but sometimes we do go 5-to-1. And we have found that 5-to-1 is our sweet spot. We can give the kids the individualization that they need, but yet they still be able to get that socialization. That does not mean we only have 5 kids in the center at a time, though. So what that looks like is for every 5 students we have in the building, we have 1 staff member. It doesn't mean they'll be working with that staff member, though. So what you saw was organized chaos, as I like to call it. We have little Bobby over here working on one-to-one correspondence while we have little Susie over here doing multi-digit multiplication. However, how we tie them all together is we do monthly themes. So this month our theme is restaurant. So everything we do is around a restaurant. So yesterday, our kids actually presented their food trucks that they have spent a month creating and marketing and looking into colors and all of these prices. And they actually, our elementaries were able to present it to our high school kids. And for our students that are maybe a little lower functioning or autism level 3 kind of friends, what we did is we made different kinds of food with them. We're teaching them through play on how to access different educational concepts. And we always make everything fun.
So
we try to make everything hands-on, fun, ridiculous.
Yeah. Hands-on, learn through play, kids having fun, the adults in the room having fun. I got to see a parent come and was hesitant to take the kid home because the kid was having fun and didn't want to finish his lesson. And so I think that you couldn't say more true words. But there's also I was also inspired by some of the academic reach and discipline and rigor that your students were going through. It didn't seem like there were any topics that were out of bounds that were considered not appropriate. You guys were tackling big stuff, and it was really, really exciting and inspiring to see.
So we have a saying that says, "Don't steal their struggle." So just because a student is neurodivergent doesn't mean they can't learn, and it doesn't mean they're not going to break that barrier and go above where people think they are. And what we have found is a lot of the times when you say you're neurodivergent or you have a student who's neurodivergent or your child is, a lot of people undercut them and try to tell them that they're not enough or they can't because of their disability. We flip that and we tell them you can and you will, but it might look different. So while we're learning multi-digit multiplication, while some people are doing it like the old school way, we're building a grid on the floor and having kids hop around to understand why they're doing what they're doing. Because we believe in meeting the student where they are and making them a championship of their disability to make it an ability.
I love it. And you practice what you preach, and it's so inspiring. So how did you get here, right? You don't just wake up one day and the next thing you know, you're founder, CEO of Crayons To Credits, where all this magic is happening. How did your journey start, Brandie? What were some of the things that got you to this space in the first place?
So the first thing that started me was I didn't read until basically the 5th grade. So I myself am neurodivergent, as you said. So I have very strong ADHD. I also have dyscalculia, dysgraphia, and dyslexia. So I've got all of the dys's under the sun, which means school for me was horrible. Absolutely horrible, because I don't think the way that a typical person thinks. And so growing up in the 80s and 90s, that wasn't okay. So then when I finally did graduate high school, I was like, okay, now what? And I didn't know what to do. So I went to school for photography, realized that I didn't like it. And so I was like, okay, sure. I want to make a difference. I don't want a student to ever feel how I felt growing up. So I went back to school to be a teacher. Yeah. I was a self-contained teacher for over 10 years. I mostly did my time in a behavior unit. So my kids couldn't be in a gen ed classroom because of behavior, not academics. I had a 98% success rate to have my students integrate into mainstream, at least one class a day. But then when I was in the public school, I still couldn't do what I wanted to do. So I was like, all right, well, let me go be an administrator. So I found an amazing local private school here in Jax, and I was an administrator there for about 5 years, but I still couldn't do what I needed and wanted to do. So finally, I looked at my husband and I said, I'm just not, I don't know, it's just not doing it. And he looked at me and he said, well, you've always wanted to start your own, do it. And I went, no, I can't do it. No, somebody else can do it. And he said, no, you're going to do it. So on August 1st, 2023, I filed my LLC with a dream, really good, two really good people behind me. And I said, all right, well, let's try it. Here's my crazy idea. Maybe it'll work. And here we are a year and a half later, and it is not only working, it's exploding in a great way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a great story, and for so many folks that I get a chance to talk to, there's some version of this, right? I didn't necessarily know all the things that I wanted to be when I grew up, but I know that I did have a set of experiences. I kept filling a pull, and that pull just kept expanding and expanding. And the more that I saw and the more that I learned, the more that I realized I could do something to contribute. And then, like, oh my goodness, here I am. This is where I am, and this is what I'm doing.
If you asked my
So that's a
mom,
great story.
if you asked my mom when I was growing up, she would say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I'm Peter Pan. I'm never growing up, Mom. And I'm not kidding. She came to visit me on my
That's
birthday
great.
that just passed in March. And she said, and she looked at me and she said, well, Brandie, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, Mom, I don't have to. I'm Peter Pan. I said, I literally don't have to grow up. I get to go to work and play every single day. I'm 41 years old. I wear the most ridiculous sneakers to work every day. And if I don't have a dance party at least once a day, then I'm not doing my job.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. So, you talked about earlier, this thing is exploding. And so one of the things that we're talking about is you're expanding into full day services next year. What does that look like? What led to that decision? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So when we started, the way our model is, we have 2 hours of core academics that we do. And right now it's a drop-off program. So parents drop their kids off to us for 2 hours. We work on core academics and they go home. Through the course of talking to my parents, they want more. They need more. These kids need more, but a traditional classroom doesn't work for them. So what we did is we put our thinking caps on, and the state of Florida is really good when it comes to school choice, and they have a program that's called full-time tutoring. So what that means is that students are going to come to us from 8:30 to 2, Monday through Thursday. We don't school on Fridays. Nobody wants to school on Fridays. And during that time, we're tailoring the program for the students. So they'll still have their 2 hours of core academics. They'll have a nice hour and a half break where we're going to eat lunch. We're going to have PE. The parents can come and pick them up and go to lunch. And then that last 2 hours of the day is either another set of core academics, or students are going to be doing their electives, which can be passion projects. It can be citizen science projects. It could be learning to crochet. It's going to be 100% student driven. One of the main reasons that we're doing this is my high schoolers told me they didn't have enough time to launch their new nonprofit that they want to launch in the next year. And so they said, Miss Brandie, they were like, we need more time. And I went, okay. And so here we are launching a full day program, mostly for my high schoolers who wanted to stay in school, which was really.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not common. That's not common.
No.
It's so interesting out there. We talk about the fun and the get-tos associated with all of these different things, but the logistics and the effort to be able to pull this off is insane, right? Because even in just passing it about talking about how you can find funding to support these moments for these kids, taking that time on Friday to make sure that you're crafting things so that Mondays through Thursdays are set up, that each kid has the wraparound of options and opportunities. And this is a lot of effort, Brandie. How do you do this? This is crazy.
I just don't sleep. It's fine.
Okay, well, that's it.
No, I am very lucky that I have an amazing team behind me. It's not just me. So when you are calling Crayons to Credits or you're signing up or you're sending that email, you're not just getting me, you're getting an entire team of educators who have between all of us, I think we have over 75 to 100 years of experience in education, in special education. So it is a really big team effort. Where I fall short, my team is able to pick up. Where I need help, they're able to step in. Where they need help, I am able to step in, because it takes a village. And as crazy as amazing as I am, I need good people. So I am very, very lucky that I have an amazing team and our families are amazing. And Jacksonville in itself is a great city for support. They really are. There's a lot of partnerships out there.
Yeah. So, I know that some folks are going to be listening to this, and, where they are, they may not have classrooms and moments and opportunities that look like this. But one of the things that I know that you do through this organization is that you provide professional development to other teachers. And tell me a little bit about that. Like, what are some of the things that you help them understand that maybe helps them shift their mindsets to be, more inclusive of where their students are? Talk to me a little bit about that. What does that look like?
Absolutely. So I love teaching teachers how to teach. I love going into organizations and taking down that barrier. What I have found is most of the time, organizations and teachers are just scared because they don't know. Here's this kid bouncing off the walls with ADHD, and I don't know what to do with him. He won't sit and take a test. Or I have this coworker who's might be on the spectrum and I don't really know how to handle talking to them. That's okay. So one of the unique things that I do when I do professional developments or I do trainings or I do coachings is I customize it to what my customer is asking for. So for example, I just did a talk at UNF, our local university here, because a class said, we need help with middle school classroom management. So I went in and I did an hour and a half on middle school classroom management. I have another organization that I'm speaking to in a couple of weeks. That's a big organization here in Jax. And they said, hey, we hired 3 autistic friends and we have no idea what to do with them. So I come in and I just break those barriers down, because a lot of the times it's just reframing your mind. Instead of telling the kid with ADHD, no, sit still, it's giving them a fidget that they can hold on to underneath the desk while they're sitting here talking, that you wouldn't know that I'm sitting here fidgeting. But that's okay because that's a tool that we have now taught. Or if you're in an organization and you have somebody with ASD who's talking to you, who's autistic, and you don't know how to talk to them, ask them. Ask them to tell them a little bit about themselves. It's just breaking down those barriers and giving everybody little quick snippets that they can employ the next day. It's not a big program. It's not overwhelming. It's little digestible bites.
You're right. Like, it's so true. Having the mindset that allows us to think right and having an opportunity to do right in that same kind of quick succession can be really transformative, especially as you get to stack that over time, right? And then the next thing you know, you're thinking right and doing right in so many different ways, and it's a whole lot of fun.
It's a whole lot of fun. I love going to organizations that don't think they actually need the training, that are sitting there and like about halfway through, I stop and I just look and I said, so how many people are bored now? And usually I don't have a single hand go up, because I model what I do in school. We're up, we're moving, it's high energy.
Yeah.
You're not going to be bored, that's for sure.
Yeah. So you've had all of these sorts of experiences that you get to pull from, that you can invite others into, to learn from, to be inspired and encouraged from. Can you tell me any stories that stick out to you about your time with Crayons to Credits that continue to motivate you and help you to continue the work that you're on? Anything you'd like to share there?
How much time do we have? Hold on. So I think I have 2 really big inspirational stories. One of them is a girl. She has dyscalculia and she was really struggling in school. She was about 2 years behind in math. So her parents called me and they were like, I don't know what to do. She's struggling. Help. She's at a local private school that's a high achieving school. And so we sat down with the school and we came up with a customized plan that I would go and myself and my associates would personally tutor her one-to-one in math every single day because it's that individualized instruction. And for a girl that literally couldn't put numbers 1 through 100 down on a number line, she is now doing multi-digit multiplication in her head. And this is only a year later. 1 year later, we have closed the gap and we are surpassing. We have another student who came to us and completely nonverbal, a little bit of just a hot mess express, and love him to death. And I told my staff, because they were like, what do we do? And I said, input, input, input. He's listening. I promise you he's listening. Trust me. Just keep going. Keep going. Sure enough, about a month ago, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, man. All of a sudden, we're in circle time, and here he comes doing head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Then all of a sudden, he sees the letter B, and he goes, "Buh." And we're like, did you just say "buh" with unprompted? So it's those little gains and celebrating those gains and watching the growth. That's what keeps us motivated. And when you see that kid light up with something they've been struggling with, or you unlock them being able to communicate, you can't even put you can't put words to it. It's just this feeling you get that you just want to explode with pride.
Yeah. Those are the kind of moments that are exceptional, that continue to drive the work and the long days for the things that may not be as fun, like figuring out how to get financing to support these moments. But you do it right because of those moments, and that's what brings it all together.
Yeah. Absolutely. That if it wasn't for those moments, I don't think anybody would be in education.
Right. Yeah. Those are the best ones. So what advice would you give to parents or educators who may be listening to this, as they kind of like start to explore how to better support the neurodivergent learners in their lives?
You are not alone. You're not alone. That's it. You're not alone. That would be my biggest message. You feel alone. It is scary when you get that diagnosis. It is scary when you're a teacher and you get that kid with a new diagnosis that you've never taught before and you're like, I don't know what to do. It's going to be okay. I tell my staff, when in doubt, stop, breathe, and take a second to think about what you want to happen. Same with a parent. You have your little one screaming and you don't know what to do and you're overwhelmed. It's going to be okay. You're not alone. And there's resources out there. You just have to find them and you just have to reach out. And there are so many of us who want to help. Do not be alone. Do not feel alone, because you're not alone.
Those are good words. And for those who are listening, as we kind of come to a close, if someone wanted to look up Crayons to Credits and find out more information about the stuff that you're doing, what's the best way to do that? How do they, get involved, see what's happening, get inspiration, contact you? How does that work?
Absolutely. So we're trying to be all over the internet. But you can find us.
It's a big place.
Absolutely. You can definitely find us on our website, which is crayons2credits.com. And you can always email info@crayons2credits.com, and somebody will get in touch with you within 48 hours. Those are the quickest, fastest ways to find us. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Anywhere you reach out, you're going to get, whether it be me, my office manager, my business manager, my site director, you will get somebody responding to you within 48 hours.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad. And we'll make sure that when we post too, we put some of those things in there so that folks can get a hold of you. And so my last thing that I'll ask you, as we're talking about making connections, is that, I'm a big believer that part of how we continue to get better and stay in the game is making and finding connections as we go. And so as from your seat, what would you encourage folks to do to make exceptional connections, or how to do it, or where to do it, so that they can continue to be fed and inspired and encouraged and held accountable and all those things? How do you do that? What advice would you give somebody who's just wanting to make those kind of connections?
When in doubt, ask. When in doubt, reach out to somebody. You would be surprised who knows somebody who knows somebody. So if you don't know, you reach out to your best friend and be like, hey, I'm thinking about this and I don't really know who to go to. Or one thing I love to do, and I love talking to people, so that's probably part of my problem, is I will compliment somebody on the street. You look fabulous today. That shirt on you is fantastic. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Hi, I'm Brandie. It's really nice to meet you. How are you doing today? That authentic connection, though, that you get from people, just talk to people. It's at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't like you because you're too much, and which I've heard a lot in my life is that I'm too much, then go find somebody less. Because you're not the kind of people that I want in my circle, because I'm a lot and I need a lot and I want to give a lot. But at the end of the day, we have to come together and understand each other.
Yeah. That reminds me, a good friend of mine is a poet, and you can find his poetry online. But he has a really simple short poem called I Am Not Your Cup of Tea. And I actually just was reading it this morning. But it says, I am not your cup of tea because I am made too strong and frankly too hot for you to enjoy. Maybe you can tolerate me in tiny sips, but I don't want to be tolerated. I want to be devoured by those who value all I am and who do not wish I was in any way watered down to meet your tepid tastes. And I love that poem. And as you were talking, it reminded me of that. It's a good one. I'll send it to you. But for those who are listening, it's David Gate Poet. You can find him online. But he's one of my favorite poets. But yeah, that's a great one.
I love it. That's amazing. It's those authentic I would never have known about him if we weren't just talking right now and I didn't bring it up. You never know.
I know.
Who knows somebody. Just say hi.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, that's going to be all for this episode of Exceptional Minds with RoboKind. Brandie, thank you so much. I know you're running from place to place today, but it's so nice to have you on our podcast. And it's so nice to watch all the fantastic things that you're doing at Crayons to Credits.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we just started to roll out a new social media campaign calling Breaking Barriers with Brandie, where I'm talking about everything neurodivergent. So definitely come check us out on our socials. The next episode drops today.
Absolutely. I will go in to check and follow, like, and subscribe myself. Thank you so much, Brandie.
Thank you.
That wraps up this episode of Exceptional Minds with RoboKind. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation and found inspiration to bring back to your own learning community. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd also love to connect with you on social media, so follow RoboKind for more resources and updates on inclusive education. Until next time, keep supporting and celebrating every learner, and remember, together we can empower exceptional minds.